Hello again, everybody. It's time to grab your rollers. Have you been secretly wishing for this class? I hope so. I wanted to give a little bit of time for people who were ordering from Amazon to receive their rollers. And so I hope that you all have one now. Let's get started. We're gonna lie back with our roller at the top of the mat, and we'll do a lot of the things that we know and love that we do here in the studio. So we're gonna start with the roller just at the base of the skull, underneath the neck. So go ahead and get yourself comfortable. We'll lie back. Knees will be bent here, and the hands are gonna take the outside edges of the roller just to encourage an open chest. Try to relax a little bit, and we're just gonna work some simple head turns. So just moving the neck slowly from right to left, and noticing if we have any tension or maybe a little knot at the base of the skull on either side, trying to establish even range from right to left. And if you do feel a sticky spot, then stay there and just work little micro movements. So that could be just little head turns back and forth, or you could even draw little circles in each direction. Some of us might need to move the roller just up like a centimeter just to get it into the right spot. So play with where you need it to be to feel like you're getting those muscles right at the base of your skull. A little massage here. Close your eyes if it feels good. And we'll do this for a little bit longer. And then let's all move the roller up just a touch higher so that it's actually on the lower part of your skull rather than in that curve at the base of the neck. And we're just gonna gently nod the chin up and down. So you'll feel the roller traveling up and down the back of the skull, and maybe just a nice stretch to the back of the neck here as you nod the chin down. Nice even breath. Easy in, easy out. Okay, and we're gonna finish up there. And then we're gonna move the roller underneath the shoulder blades. A good place to start is just maybe at arm height. And then once you've done a rep, you take a test run and you can adjust it. So interlacing the hands behind the head, really nice and heavy through the feet, knees, and pelvis. So that's not gonna lift off the floor. And on the inhale breath, we're gonna extend our spine over the roller. And on the exhale breath, we just wanna feel the ribs knit and glide forwards as we work a very gentle and assisted chest lift here. So the roller is definitely giving us a little bit of help as we move forwards. Inhaling back, you might find that you increase your range as you do these, as you move through repetitions. And while this is a pretty easy movement, still think of drawing that navel both in and up. So you are engaging the abdominal wall here. Inhale back, exhale forwards, fully supporting the weight of the head. And then let's stretch back and just isolate the movement to a side-to-side motion. So a lateral flexion of the spine. Again, we're not moving the hips, so you could imagine that your pelvis is anchored or glued to the floor here as you create a little bit more space underneath the arms and through the side ribs. And you can think of channeling your breath into the side that is stretching. So you inhale deeper into that right lung, exhale back to center, inhale deeper into the left side. And we're gonna build this into a circle. So moving to the right, we laterally bend right, and then we're gonna come forwards all the way up around we're gonna go again. So let's stay in the same direction. These are our rib circles. If you feel like you need to move the roller up or down so that it's in a stable position, go for it. Make any changes that you need to. Continue to draw the abdominals down, so we are still using a little bit of oblique energy to do this. It's not just passive. Use the abdominals to control the work. Let's reverse it. So moving into that lateral bend, left, up and around. Let the head be heavy in the hands. And enjoy the circle. 3. Let's go for 2 more. 4. And 5. Good. From here, let's take the arms just down along the side body, and for me, I feel like I need to move the roller just a touch lower. And this is, again, just a really gentle oblique exercise. You're just tapping the opposite hand, coming across the midline. Just a hint. Drawing those abdominals in as you do so. Keeping the shoulders out of the ears. Just a simple little twist through the rib cage, through the waistline. We're almost there. 1 left, 1 right. Good. Reinterlace the hands behind the head. Take 1 more big extension back. A nice deep breath. And then let's go ahead and bring the spine just a little bit more to what feels like a flat back. And then we're going to scoop the belly, lift the pelvis off the floor. And let's start to move the roller up and down the upper back here. So we're thinking no further than the waistline and then up to the tops of the shoulders, but not onto the neck. You have a nice connection through hamstrings and glutes here. We're using the leverage of the legs to actually move the roller up and down the back, so you'll feel the knee crease deepen and then open up a little bit each time. You can lean into one shoulder blade if you're feeling a little tension on one side, and then even it out on the other. Let's finish up here in just a moment. And then we'll place the hips down onto the floor. And we're gonna move the roller now down to the end of the mat. And we'll take a moment to pretend we're on our reformer, just a little bit of push and pull of the roller. It's quite light. It'll feel a little bit more connected to the abdominals versus the heaviness that you would feel in your springs on the reformer. But I want you to settle into a nice neutral spine, relax across your chest, and bring the roller pretty close to your sits bones and underneath your toes. So you're up nice and high on your toes here. And on the inhale breath, we're gonna push the roller away, pull the tummy in, and flex the feet and let the roller come up over the heel and underneath the ankles. Now feel a little bit of downwards pressure into your roller so the hamstrings engage, the abdominals engage, and pull it back to you, rolling it over the heels, across the arches, and back up over the or underneath the toes. So it's just a continuous push and pull. Flex and really reach through your heels, straightening your legs, squeezing through the quads, and then push down as you drop back so that the hamstrings engage. So you need to create those sensations in your body here. If you're just pushing and pulling the roller softly, it'll feel very passive. But if you can deepen the connection of hamstrings and abdominals on the way in, and pushing through and squeezing the quads on the way out, you can create a little bit of leg work in addition to footwork here, because we're moving through both plantar and dorsiflexion of the feet, pushing and pulling. Let's go for 1 more, reaching through, flexing and pushing through those heels, really reach the energy all the way out through the feet and drop back. And let's stop it when it's underneath the arches. If your roller has gotten a little bit wonky, take a moment to straighten it out here so it's nice and horizontal across the mat, and we'll work into some bridging. So trapping the roller underneath the arches of the feet, we'll use the exhale breath to imprint the lower back, so that nice little tilt of the pelvis. Press firmly through the triceps, and let's start to roll our hips up into our first bridge. Take a breath when you get there, and then just roll that spine down, one vertebra at a time. This can always be modified to more of a simple hinging of the pelvis up and down. So if the rolling sensation isn't working for you, then you'll just come to more of a simple lift lower of the pelvis. Let's keep broad across the collarbone, so feeling that opening of the chest as we roll up into our diagonal spine. Breathe in, trying not to let that roller move. Inhale for pause, exhale to roll it back up. And roll it down. 2 more. Scoop and lift, exhale, drawing that pubic bone towards the navel so we're getting that nice little tuck of the pelvis, squeezing the glutes. Roll it down. On the next one, we're gonna stay lifted. So rolling up into bridge. Let's practice that little push-pull. So it's really a small movement. We're pushing the roller forward slightly, pulling it back. Push it forwards, pull it back. Everything else is nice and stable. Try to lift those hips just a little higher. Tuck the tail a little deeper. Last one here. And rolling it down. Good. Pushing out to a nice long leg. Take a breath. It's just a brief moment of stretch, and then draw the roller back underneath your arches. And we're gonna come back up into bridge to march it out a little bit here. So we'll take right leg to table, put it back down, left leg, and put it back down. Exhale to lift, inhale to lower, feeling that connection of abdominals to the lift of the leg. Try to keep that roller nice and still. Last one. And down we roll. All right, back to straight legs. Let the roller come up just a touch higher so that it's underneath your lowest part of your calf muscle. And from here, separate the legs a little bit wider. Let the legs feel very heavy, so you're really resting in your bones. Even the palms can open. And we're just gonna feel the internal and external spiral of the femur bones. So essentially, you're rolling in and out with the leg bone so that you get that nice little lateral connection across the calf muscle. And we're gonna be doing this all the way up the back of the calves gradually, so like inch by inch. And you can also play with little up and down motions, or even like a circular roll of the leg bones. So you might recognize that feeling from when we do footwork on the reformer and we practice our knee circles. So play with the motions that give you the best release of the calf muscle, and we're just gonna move it up a little higher. So an inch or two higher and get right back to it. Just out in, drawing circles, up, down. And remember that you're trying to let your legs rest heavy. You can even cross one ankle over the other to create a little bit more downwards pressure if you have one side that feels particularly tight. A lot about foam rolling is just about what feels good for you. So let's go up a little higher. You might find that your mid or upper calves are tighter than your lower calves, or vice versa. Kind of depends on what you do for exercise, how your foot hits the ground when you're walking. But this is a great way to help relax restless legs. So it's even something that you could do in the evening, just to kind of help yourself wind down a little bit. Almost there. Let's make this our last little segment of calf. And remember, you can always hit pause and work a little longer if you need to. And then if you are using this as a tool to relax at the end of the day, it's nice to just let the roller come underneath the crease behind the knees like a bolster. And you can just give yourself some time to relax and breathe. We're not gonna do that now, but that's a recommendation that you can do in your own practice at home. Right now, we're actually gonna take the roller closer to the sits bones, bend the knees, and roll the pelvis all the way up off the mat so that we can place the roller underneath the sacrum. And from here, again, it's nice to just take a moment to let the pelvis rest heavy on the roller, similar to what you would do if you were letting your pelvis rest on a yoga block. It creates a little bit of length in the lumbar spine. We want to make sure that the roller is in a place where we can bring the legs up to tabletop nicely and feel like it's not going to pop out from underneath us. Once you do that, try to drop those ribs in a little bit. Connect deeper into the abs. Squeeze the knees and feet together, and we're going to work into our supine twist. I recommend holding on to the outside edges of your roller so that it doesn't go anywhere. Taking an inhale breath as you rotate, feeling that stretch across the abdominals, across the lower back. Exhale, breath comes back to center. Inhale over, exhale back. And you want to try to place the roller underneath you so that you feel a massage across the upper and side glutes and hips. It's a really nice feeling. This is a favorite exercise for a lot of people. Inhale, wrapping through the waistline to come back to center. Exhale back. Let's go one more to the left. And then we're going to come back center, finding tabletop, a little bit of space between the knees and feet here, so we're in a parallel. And we're going to start to alternate our toe taps. So moving from the hip hinge, tapping the toe to the mat and exhaling to bring it back. This should create a nice challenge for your abdominals. So holding that pelvis very steady. Same goes for the rib cage. Relaxing tension in your shoulders. So you can even let the grip on the roller go if you're finding that you're getting tense in your arms. Let's go one more to each side. Good, and then coming back to hold the roller, let's extend the legs up to the ceiling. Flex and point the feet. Let the blood flow a little bit here. And then we're gonna find our turnout. So I want you to find that V position of the feet. Heels together, toes apart. Always make sure to adjust the roller so it's still nice and secure underneath your pelvis. And let's point the toes, take an inhale breath, stretch the legs wide, exhale, flex the feet, pull back to center. Point, reach, inhale, flex, pull, exhale. Let this be a little bit of hip work for you, but also engage from those lower abdominals as you draw back to center. Let's go for a couple more here. Point, reach, flex, pull. Always returning to that Pilates V. And when we come back to center on the next one, I want you to come back into that parallel. So just feet side by side. Point the toes and work into that scissor kick. So we draw one leg towards us, we send the other away. We want to focus on that stretch that we're getting through the hamstring that's coming towards us. And you can deepen this a little bit by flexing the foot that comes towards you and pointing the foot that reaches away. That flex of your foot can help stretch a little deeper through the calves and hamstrings. Good. And let's see if we can transition this into a bicycle. So we're going to try to go for a nice big reach out of that right leg, graze the mat, pull the leg back, and switch. So you always want to find a moment of being in that L shape with the legs, where both legs are straight before you tap and drag back. Continue to close the ribs and draw the navel to the spine. If this big bicycle isn't working so well for you, you can make it a lot smaller and still just get a nice little flow through the hip flexors. Let's go for a couple more. And then bringing both of the legs up to the ceiling, we're going to move into a little bit of corkscrew prep. So on the inhale breath, you're going to feel the left hip lift slightly as you tip the pelvis to the right, And then we're gonna dip down and around, all the way up to center and reverse. So I want you to always make sure that you reverse your flow as you come up center. The lower that you reach the legs, the harder this will be. You can keep it a lot smaller if you're protecting some sensitivity in the lower spine. So work in a range that feels good for you and a range that is within your control. Reach and circle down, around and up. Feeling that nice little rotation of the waist as that pelvis shifts from side to side. Let's come back to center and hold. And then we're gonna lower the legs down on the inhale, and on the exhale, we'll pull them back. Inhale, lower, really tightening into that tummy. Exhale, back. You can reach as far as you feel comfortable going without flaring the ribs. So the movement of the legs shouldn't change the position of your spine. If you start to feel like your back is dramatically arching, then you need to bring your range in a little tighter or deepen your connection through your abdominals. Here, let's go for a few more. Inhale, reaching. Exhale, back. Inhale, reach. Exhale, back. And then we're gonna place the feet down on the floor. Make sure that the roller is still in a nice position. So I'm gonna move mine up just a touch. Moving into hip flexor stretch. We're gonna send the left leg long, let it hang really nice and heavy, and then draw the right knee into the chest. You should feel a nice big stretch across the front of that left hip. It's a good one. Nice, easy, deep breaths. Easy in, easy out. Let's switch. All right. And then both feet flat to the mat. Let's lift the pelvis and push the roller out from underneath us. Try to have your fingertips on the roller and bring your legs to tabletop position. We're gonna use the roller as a little feedback for our chest lift here. So on the exhale, let's nod the chin, curl forwards. Inhale, roll back. And you're trying to push that roller forwards and draw it back. If you're sensitive in the neck, you might decide not to push the roller, but instead to interlace your hands behind your head. Let's go for 2 more. And last one. And then the feet come down. We're going to take a moment to roll ourselves up. And moving into a little bit of chest opener, I want you to put your roller all the way down at the end of your mat, back underneath your ankles. Let's take our hands a little bit wider than our shoulder distance, maybe almost mat distance apart. And you can either angle the fingertips outwards or you can turn the fingertips to face you with elbows slightly bent as we push into the triceps and lift the pelvis off the mat, open the chest. And then we lower down. The roller might move a little bit here, that's okay. Lift up, open your chest, lower down. This is a hinging motion of the pelvis. We'll feel hamstrings and glutes in addition to our abdominals here, and a great big stretch across the chest. Let's go for a couple more. Breathe in to prepare, exhale, lift. And last one. Good. And then then let's lower down. And moving the roller to about mid-mat, we're gonna have a seat right on top of the roller to roll out the hips. So feet are on the floor in front of us. Choose one side. So I'm gonna put my left hand on the floor here and lean my body weight into that left glute, left hip. So I'm not directly rolling on the tailbone. So if this isn't quite enough for you, you can actually cross the ankle of the leg that you are rolling out over the opposite knee, and that's gonna open up a little bit more space. If you're sensitive though, this can be a little bit nervy. And so do what feels right for you, either keeping both feet on the floor or crossing ankle over thigh. And then placing that foot back onto the mat. This is the more gentle way of rolling out your IT band. You're gonna bring the roller down below that big bony notch of your hip. Make sure it's not up towards your waist. And then cross your top leg over. And get yourself situated so that that bottom IT band can be accessed as you move the roller up and down from the knee to the hip, supporting yourself with that top leg and the arms. And I know some of you are hardcore and you like to just go ahead and stack the hips and stack the legs and roll that way, and that's totally fine. Go for it. Let's do the other side. So we're gonna focus on the opposite, leaning our weight off the tailbone and into focus on the glute and the hip. You have the option to cross that ankle over thigh on the side that you're rolling out. That's the leg you wanna cross here. And when you've had enough there, you'll move into the IT band. I'm just gonna go ahead and face this way. So I'm gonna cross my top leg over and firmly place the foot on the floor, straightening the bottom leg and moving in between the knee joint and the hip joint, rolling right up the side of the thigh. Getting into that IT band. Again, go ahead and stack and roll out if you like to get a little deeper and put a little bit more pressure onto your IT band. Good stuff. Okay, let's hit the abdominals again, maybe just with a touch more intensity. We are gonna put the roller back underneath the shoulder blades and move into a little bit of single leg and double leg, woo, almost lost it there, double leg stretch. So pinning the roller underneath the shoulder blades, you wanna be able to pull the legs up into tabletop here. So if it's too low, you're gonna feel really awkward. You've gotta find that perfect spot for your roller. Bring those legs up to tabletop, scoop the belly, and we're gonna draw the right knee in and then the left. So we're focusing on maintaining that thoracic flexion, so that upper spine is staying lifted. It's not rocking from side to side. You're nice and centered. The only moving piece is gonna be the arms and legs here. Let's challenge this by interlacing the hands behind the head. We're not gonna go into crisscross. I want you to curl a little deeper and just hold that line. Stretching those legs forwards one at a time. And then let's draw the nose towards the knees, curling into a little ball. Moving into our double leg stretch now. Raising the ankles back to table, reach towards your ankle bones. On the inhale breath, let's extend the arms back and the legs forwards. Circle the arms around and draw everything back. For those of you who enjoy the extension, feel free to allow that upper spine to bend back over your roller, but continue to stay connected through your tummy here. So if you're bending back, I don't want you to let the contraction of your abdominals go. I just want you to feel like you're stretching that contraction over the roller. Inhale, reach. Exhale, center. Inhale, exhale. So whether you're staying nice and stable or you're allowing that extension, let's enjoy a couple more of these. Inhale and exhale. Exhale, one more. Good. Rock those knees towards the nose. Place the feet wide on your mat now. So as wide as your mat is, interlace your hands back behind your head. Inhale, stretch back into extension and let both of the knees drop to the left. Remember, you've got wide feet right now, nice and wide. Both of the knees drop to the right. And then let's go ahead and come back to center and bring ourselves up to seated. I'm gonna face you and we're gonna move into mermaid with our roller. So you're gonna find that mermaid position. You wanna have your roller on the side where your knee is pointing towards it. So not this side here. Think about your reformer. Where would you be? Your leg that would be against your shoulder blocks versus the hand that would be on your foot bar. You want your hand on your foot bar here, which is your roller. So on the inhale breath, we're gonna push it away. You can slice it. If you see the position of my hand, it's just like we're pushing right through that pinky. Inhale over, exhale back. Enjoying that space. If sitting in mermaid really doesn't work for your hips, then you could always opt to go for a cross-legged position and you'll still get a little stretch here. Let's go for 2 more like this. And go as deep into it as you'd like. You can really lay your body down. And then we're gonna go into a little bit of diagonal mermaid. So moving your roller so that it tracks outwards right in front of that knee point, and you're gonna put one hand framing that knee. So we're gonna push the roller down and up. So just moving right over the femur bone. So we go down and up. Good. 3, exhale, lift. 4, and 5. And then let's go to the other side. So switching that mermaid sit, making sure that you've got your roller on the correct side. So again, you want that knee point pointing towards your roller. We're gonna slice into it. Inhale over, exhale back. Enjoying that stretch. You can always, again, opt to sit cross-legged if you need to. A couple more. And let's shift the position of the roller so it tracks kind of right in front of that knee point. Find your little frame with your hands, and we're just gonna track right over the femur bone, pressing out and lifting up. Breathe in as you stretch and pull back. 2 more here. And then let's go ahead and come up. So we're on our knees. And this is a little bit like our reverse knee stretch on the reformer. You're gonna come up onto your roller so that the upper shins are balancing on the roller. So you definitely wanna be below the knee joint, right? Right on the bones of your upper shins. And then you're gonna place the hands on the floor, maybe just slightly forwards of your shoulder line. And we're gonna use the exhale breath to lift the abdominals and pull the knees in and then press the knees back out. So we're engaging from the belly here. That's what's moving us. It's not the arms pulling. The arms are creating stability. We're nice and broad between the shoulder blades. Be careful that you don't wing or pinch your scapula. And it's a bit of a massage to the muscles down the fronts of the shins, which can feel nice. Even a nice little stretch to the ankles. Exhale, pull. Inhale, push. Exhale. One more time. Good. And then let's walk the knees back and push the roller forwards, taking a little resting pose here. Nice little stretch. And then as we come into plank, for some of us this might feel like too much pressure on the wrists. You can always opt not to use the roller here. You can even modify this just to hold a nice plank on the knees with crossed ankles, heels pulling towards sits bones. So that's going to be your modification. But if you can, I want you to try to balance the upper body on the roller. So we're going to place the hands on and press the feet back, flexing the toes into the mat and tucking the hips slightly just to deepen the belly connection here. And see if you can create just the tiniest little push-pull. This really might just be an inch forwards and back. And again, if that feels like too much, just hold your plank. We're almost there. This is giving me a little bit of a tremble. Really drawing those abdominals in. And last one. And the knees come back down and the hips sit back. Let's take it into a cat stretch with our roller. This looks a little different than your traditional cat stretch. It's going to be a little bit more dramatic, a little bit more movement. So on the in-breath, I want you to push the roller forwards and pull the hips up and back. On the exhale, tuck the pelvis and deepen that round spine, looking towards your thighs. Inhale, push. Exhale, round. Finding both extension and flexion in the spine, letting the abdominals help to round the back for you. So it's that contraction of the tummy that pulls the pelvis into tuck. Last one here. And then we're going to bring the roller a little closer so that we can roll out quads. So I want you to lay down so that the roller is right across the middle of your thighs. So here we are. We're in a forearm plank. There's good mechanics here. So I want you to pull the abdominals up and in. Don't sway the back. Don't collapse the shoulder blades. Be really strong in that forearm plank as you use the leverage of the arms to push and pull your body up and down, so you feel that roller moving up and down from the knee joint, not over the knee joint, but just above the knee joint, all the way up towards the pelvis. And here's another place where you can kind of lean in to one side if you'd like, or you can just stay nice and centered, moving that roller up and down. Let's go for a couple more. Keep drawing up through those tummy muscles. Don't let your body collapse. Even though this is a feel-good movement, we're still going to have healthy movement mechanics. And then we're going to go ahead and push that roller to the top of our mat, coming down onto your tummy. So into prone position. Stretch those arms out a little bit wider than shoulder distance apart and turn the palms to face one another so you're not flat. You're in more of that slicing position. Think about the roller being up towards your wrists instead of down on your fingertips. And engage the tummy. So we're going into back extension. We need to be supported from the underside as we come up into our swan. You're going to feel the triceps working a little bit here. You can keep this really mellow, leaving the tummy on the mat, leaving the lower ribs on the mat, or you can go big by gathering those abdominals in and lifting your chest and feeling your belly button actually come up off the floor. But remember, it doesn't just come from bending your back. It really has to come from finding that support from your underside. So your abdominals are coming underneath you like a sling of support as you lift, and your shoulders are soft. I don't want you to feel like you're pushing your shoulders with force down your back, but I do want you to feel like you're allowing the dynamic movement of the shoulder blade here as you lift and lower, and you're not tensing the shoulders up into the ears. One more. and lower down. Turn the palms to face down now. A little modified swim. I want you to focus on lifting your right arm and your left leg at the same time, but as you do that, I also want you to pull the roller a little closer and extend your upper back. So that's where the left arm comes into play. We're staying on the same side, right arm, left leg, but I want you to feel that scapula gently soften down the back as you draw the roller a little closer and lift the heart space. Nice and straight through the leg. We're gonna go for one more on this side. And then we'll switch. So we're gonna lift the left arm and the right leg. Ready? This is gonna be our leverage to lift the chest. We come up and down. Kind of a lot going on here in terms of coordinating both sides of your body. Pull it closer as you lift, feeling good hip extension and back extension supported from the abdominals. Let's go for two more. And last one. Good. Now from here, challenge yourself by trying to lift both of your hands up off the roller and give yourself a little swim here. If that's not working for your body, just go ahead and do a little bit more of a gentle alternating pattern, always touching one side down on your roller. But if you can go for that big swim, let's do it. Let's reach the arms and legs really long, decompressing the spine, pulling that belly button up and in. Almost there. And relax. Let's go ahead and bring ourselves right back up to the knees and sit the hips back over the heels, pressing that roller forwards in our resting pose. And finally, we're gonna turn ourselves into that vertical position on the roller. So you're gonna take the roller right up the middle of your mat, and then it's never the most glamorous process, but we're gonna get up on that roller and lie back. Okay, so you're gonna hoist yourself up there. Make sure that you're supported from your tailbone all the way to the crown of your head here. All right, so both ends of the body are supported. And then just open the palms and allow yourself to take a couple of breaths here so that the roller can settle right at the middle of your back. And sometimes our back extensors have to create a little bit of space for the roller before we can get moving. All right. Now we've got some shoulder openers coming, but we also have a little bit more work to do before we get there. So on the inhale breath, we're gonna stretch our arms all the way back behind us. Be careful that you don't extend the spine as you do that. So draw the ribs down, and on the exhale breath, we'll curl forwards. And inhale breath, stretch all the way back, filling the opening underneath the arms. Exhale. And inhale. And 3. And 4. And 5. Now, get yourself mentally prepared for the hundreds. I've got to move this hood out of the way. You can leave the neck down if you need to, but otherwise you'll work that challenge by curling yourself forwards into flexion, drawing the shoulders away from the ears, and let's inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, in 2, 3, 4, 5, out 2, 3, 4, 5, in 2, 3, 4, 5, out 2, 3, 4, 5, in 2, 3, 4, 5, out 2, 3, 4, 5, in 2, 3, 4, 5, out 2, 3, 4, 5, in 2, 3, 4, 5, out 2, 3, 4, 5, in 2, 3, 4, 5, out 2, 3, 4, 5, in 2, 3, 4, 5, out 2, 3, last set, in 2, 3, 4, 5, out 2, 3, 4, and rest. Reach the arms all the way back. Draw a big circle out and around, and then let's plant the forearms onto the mat and bring both of our legs cautiously up to tabletop position. So one at a time, okay? Find the balancing point. Bring your other leg up. Do you need to widen your arms? Listen to your body here. If you don't feel safe, work with one leg down. Let's draw, ooh, there you go. Draw the ribs in, and let's start alternating. Those taps. Push the femur away, pull it back. Push it away, pull it back. Almost there. Last one. And both feet come down. Just the right arm reaches to the ceiling, palm faces inwards. Make sure that you bring not your right leg, but your left leg. So right arm, left leg, up. Now, you can work this little dead bug movement from a bent knee, or you can extend the leg and work from that straight leg. So we inhale to lengthen the arm back, leg forwards, exhale, coming back to center. Inhale, reach, exhale, pull. Drawing from that center, that's where I want you to be pulling from. Don't get it carried away in the hip flexor. Come a little deeper into that center point. One more time, inhale, exhale. And then let's place those down to the floor. Let's bring that right leg up, left arm. If you can, extend the leg. Inhale, reach, exhale, center. Drawing that navel down. 3. Last one. Good. And then relax everything to the floor. Time for shoulder openers. Yay, we made it. So let's bring the arms up. Palms are shoulder distance apart, so you're just in a nice parallel. And I want you to start to glide the scapula. So you feel protraction and retraction. Hugging the roller with the shoulder blades and then letting the shoulder blades widen and reach away from it. This doesn't involve any bending of the elbows. You're just nice and straight through the arms. This comes all the way from your scapula. Wrapping back, reaching up. And then let's settle in more of a neutral position of the shoulders and take an inhale breath to stretch the right arm back and the left arm forward. So like a pair of scissors, the blades moving in opposite directions. We inhale to stretch and then coming back. Feeling space underneath the arms and between the coils of our ribs. And then finding center, inhale, we open. Just a nice big opening of the arms to the ceiling. Just open everything wide, exhaling back. Big breaths. Exhaling the tension out. And then let's go into palms pressing together like in a prayer position. Bend the elbows and let the palms rest just hovering over the chest. So we're gonna slide the thumbs and fingers over the face. Dive the fingertips to the floor. Peel the palms and elbows apart and circle down and around. Elbows are still bent. And then reconnect the palms over the chest. As you slide the hands over your face, maybe you can squeeze your elbows together to make a little bit more space between your shoulder blades, and then peel everything apart and circle. This is a favorite. I think a lot of people enjoy this one. It's a really nice way to open up the chest. Big circle. Squeezing those elbows together. for one more. And then we're gonna let the arms just be long and go for big sweeping circles up, over, and all the way out and around. By the way, you can always widen your foot stance if you're feeling a little bit unstable on the roller. Just allow your knees and feet to be in a position that helps to support your work. Big opening circles, big expansive circles. And then let's just find the perfect spot for our arms so that we feel stretch across the chest, but we don't want to feel stress in the joints. So you should be able to feel heavy through the elbows and the backs of the hands. You shouldn't feel like your fingers are tingling. That might be a sign that you're just pushing it a little too far. So get in a place where you can feel a little bit more relaxed. And start to feel like your breath is just relaxing. It's assisting you in letting go now. So as if the body is melting right over the edges of the roller. You can relax the face and the shoulders, chest and the hands. Just give yourself a moment to breathe. And that's the only point. Just breath. Everything else lets go. Let's let ourselves just gently rock the boat a little bit. So little rocks from side to side. Take as much time as you need here, but when you're ready, just gonna kind of ooze off the roller. So think about trying to touch a hip down before a shoulder. And bringing yourself up to seated. I always feel like a bowl of Jell-O after a foam roller session. Give your shoulders a little roll. Maybe the neck too. And we are all set for today. If you have any requests, send them my way. I'll be thinking of what to do next, and I will see you very soon.